You know what, ladies and gentlemen? He's ours. That's right. Ben Ellefson played his high school ball at Holly. He played his college ball at NDSU. You can't get any more upper Midwest than that. He goes on to NDSU and he rocks it. He just nails it to the point where he ends up being a Jacksonville Jaguar, which he doesn't belong there. Okay? There's a lot of us looking at his career saying there's one place he belongs. Well, he is there now. He's a Minnesota Viking. Ben, good to have you coming down the road with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Okay, Viking fan through and through. I am. You grew up in Minnesota. Your family must have been Viking fans.
Yeah, we were growing up. I wasn't a diehard or anything like that, but you come home from church and they're on the TV, so you throw them on, or you just I'm there watching them a little bit. Been to a few games growing up, so I definitely know about the purple and the gold. So,
well, it took off. I mean, football took off. Ben, when you got the word that the Vikings said, "Come on, you come put the purple and the gold on," what went through your mind?
It didn't hit me right away. Obviously, I called my parents and stuff like that, and they were very excited. But I think it was on the plane ride here that evening. Was kind of when I got like the feeling, like it's becoming real. And so then, literally the next day, I was out at practice, kind of meeting some people and everything like that. So it happened very fast. But yeah, I'm just excited to be here and help this team win.
The Vikings came up short at the tight end position, and not to mention the fact that you got Mr. Cook in the backfield, one of the best runners in the NFL. And so they were looking for a tight end that could pancake people. And you can. That's one of the things that I noticed as an old referee that worked the Bison for a lot of years. I saw a lot of tight ends, and I saw a lot of tight ends that looked like left tackles. That's your strength. That's your pride. How does that stack up against NFL players, NFL linebackers?
It's just another aspect of the game. Obviously, at this level, your technique has to be perfect every snap and every rep that you take. And if it's not, you're going to get exposed in some way. Going against DNs and D linemen, linebackers that might weigh a little bit more than you, but it just comes down to just getting the job done with good technique and just kind of that mentality of I'm going to do my job and move this guy. So.
As you find your niche on this Viking team, as you find where you're going to end up being, which is that starter that's doing exactly what we just described in practice, do you go against the ones? Is it ones on ones? Is it ones on twos? How does that work out?
A little bit, yeah. You have some good on good. It kind of varies, depending on what we're running and what we're doing. But every rep is competitive, and you don't want to let the guy cross your face. There's certain situations where it's a really hard look, but that's how it's supposed to be, in practice, to make it hard in practice so that the game becomes easier. And so you see some of that going against, Daniil and Everson Griffin, and so, yeah, just being able to go against them is obviously making me better and, can help me on Sundays.
Yeah, you want to talk about being thrown in the third end of the pool when you're sitting there going against Hunter and Griffin. I mean, those, you didn't see that growing up in Holly, I would guess.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. And so, like I said, you gotta learn a little bit quicker than you normally would, especially just coming into a new offense and a new system, trying to understand things on the fly. Definitely a lot of information, but just being able to grasp. I've had some good tight ends, a good group, a good room, helping us along the way. Chris and I helping us along the way. So, yeah, just excited for it.
So, the Bison run a first-class program, and that. You've got 20,000 faithful, loyal fans in the stands all the time. You've got national championship rings on your fingers. You know what it's like to play for one of the best college programs in the nation. What's the difference between that and where you're at now? What's the biggest difference? And I'm not talking about just the speed, the size, those type of things. I'm just talking about the life, Ben.
Say that one more time.
What's the biggest difference? I mean, when you go to the pro level, Ben, and you're sitting there and you're like, wow. I mean, what's the biggest difference going from college ball to pro ball?
I would say you're a little bit more on your own. There's a little bit more maturity that has to evolve. You're now a professional, and so being able to take care of your body off the field, taking care of your body on the field, eating the right things, doing the right type of soft tissue work, things like that is the biggest thing. In college, you had coaches constantly telling you, get in the ice tubs, do this, do that, kind of taking you by the hand in some aspects. And I would say here, not that that doesn't happen, but I would say that it's a little bit more on your own. And so like that maturity on your own, kind of, taking care of yourself, understanding your body, what you need, what you shouldn't, you don't need, things like that. I would say is the biggest difference for my first year, and even learning in the second year too.
So, in terms of getting along, being together, with the Bison, I know how close knit that team was. Speaking to a number of the Bison leaders, you're friends. You're friends, and you make them for 4 years, and you know that in many cases that might be the last football you play. It wasn't for you, obviously, but does that carry through to the professional level? Do you get to know your teammates on a personal level?
Yeah, you do. And I will say it's a little bit different, just because an NFL locker room I think it's a lot more diversified. College is a little bit more regionalized, and so you have guys kind of from the same area in the United States or wherever. But at the NFL level, there's guys from all kinds of backgrounds and things like that. But at the end of the day, we're still sitting in the locker room talking about just different things like what's happening in each one of our lives and stuff. So there is some of that camaraderie and relationships and things like that. It's obviously I'm going to keep my Bison friends and my Bison teammates. Those are going to be there for life, and I'll have some of these guys too. I think down the road we'll stay in touch and things like that. But it is a little bit different, and everybody has a different experience with that at the college level. But I'm just very fortunate for the one that I did at NDSU.
Okay, you can't get mad at me for asking this question. It's an obvious question, and it's one that it's fair. Let me guess. If I had to guess, Coach Zimmer was practicing snap counts this week. It wasn't a great weekend against the Bengals for staying on sides. What was his attitude in the locker room after that game, or better yet, at halftime? Are you there? There you go, Ben. You kind of locked out for a second. Go ahead.
Oh, you got me now?
Yep,
okay.
I've got you.
Yeah, I would say it was definitely a point of emphasis this week. Obviously, staying on sides, keeping hands inside, no holding calls just across the board. And so the noise, the volume was turned up at practice today, so we had to go on the silent and really lock in and focus and things like that. But those are just things you can't have on an offense. And moving forward, that's something that we're obviously going to work on and kind of perfect and try to be better about it.
So to block for a guy named Dalvin Cook, to know that on any given seal block, this guy could break it. I mean, he's got the talent to go 70, 80 yards and have everybody looking like they're just a little bit slower. What does that feel like to know that you're one block away from being a highlight film on ESPN?
That's right. Yeah, it's a little bit is comfort. The fact that maybe you're not perfect on your block, but he's going to make you right by setting up the defense the way that you're blocking him, if that makes sense. And so he's just he sees the hole very well. He sees lanes, and so giving him that two-way go, is really beneficial for our offense in the run game for sure.
Yeah. Well, the Vikings are a run team. Whether people want to look, the NFL is a throw league. I get that, but the strength of the Vikings is still the run right now, and of course they need a tight end that can block, and you're a tight end that can block. It isn't as though you can't catch. That's not my point. It's just I love watching offensive lines, and I love the way you smack people. So good luck to you this year. You give me even more to cheer for, Ben, and keep doing what you're doing, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me.